boy Bleeves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Trading with Bleeves. We're going to talk crypto trading right now. We're going to look in. This is going to be brought to you by Margex. Margex is who I'm using for this live stream. For this, let's put that up there so you can see it. If you want to trade with Margex, if you want to follow me for a copy trading setup, it is not set up yet. I am lazy. The reason that I'm lazy, though, is very simple. I haven't completed the trades that I'm in right now. I'm not going to be on for very long. I'm still sick, so I'm working through it. I by the way, negative for COVID. It's not COVID or COVID related, just flu or whatever. And by the way, it's 80 degrees outside, so why am I sick, right? So anyway, let's talk about what's going on in the market. Today is the first day of October. So if you've been following, if you've been paying attention, we've been super excited about it. While we've been super excited about it, I want to show you something special that just happened over the last little while. Like, guys, you are not going to believe it. It broke out over the last 24, 48 hours. Look at this right here. This is Zcash. This is one of your privacy-based tokens, coins out here. It has gone absolutely nanners. Now, when you look at it from a longer time frame, going into the middle of August, it was trading at $28. $28 right down here, a little bit further down. Let's find it. $34, not $28, $34. But from $34, it is now trading at or around $130. So shout out. I told you guys a couple days ago. As a matter of fact, I told you yesterday on the stream or the day before on the stream, whenever I did the last trading stream, we had this conversation about privacy coins and how they were going to take over. I had no idea that Zcash was going to blow up this way, so I don't get any credit for that. But we were talking about privacy related stuff here and how important it is and how they are going to have an enormous run in this market, and that's exactly what just happened. So make sure that you hit the like button on the way in. Let's talk about where we are right now. We're going to go into our perpetual futures. So just giving you the update right here. We are, let's pull this up on the screen. We're up massively right now. Okay, we're up 100% on our little $40 one. We took $400 in Link. We used 10x leverage. We bought at $20.54. We're now trading at $22.60 right here. We've got a full take profit set at $27 that we're letting run right now, but we are doing really, really good with that one. Over to the one before that, we took it at $21.07, and it's, again, same price, $22.60, but we did $1,000 at 10x, so we've got a $10,000 trade going right now on Link right now with a full take profit set at $27. We are up 71% or $715 right now. We took another Bitcoin trade. Again, it was $1,000. We went 10x. We're having a little faith in the market right now. We took it at 112.5. It's currently at 117,700. Our take profit is set at 118,700. So we're looking for a big move there. Not going to be very much meat on the bone by the end of it. We're not going to have a whole lot of profit that we're going to make out of it. But right now we're sitting at $467. So in the event that it does continue on, which I think that it will, up to 118,700. By the way, Ryo came into the chat this morning talking about Dr. Profit. You guys know I was right. Dr. Profit was wrong. That pissed him off. He blocked me. So he, by the way, let me also say, I value what he has to say, even if he's wrong. His logic and reasoning behind everything is very, very solid. So if you're not following Dr. Profit, you should be following Dr. Profit. You want to get it perfectly right, you should be following me. But Dr. Profit is not a bad guy to pay attention to, because he is in tune with what's going on in the market. Now, because of that, let's when we break this down over here, we are up $468 with this move. We're feeling pretty good. But he called 119 to 125,000 as the top. And, basically, I don't know if he was talking about this market total or anything like that. I have no idea. But Ryo came in this morning, said that the conversation that he was having was between 119,000 and 125,000 is where he's going to be shorting the market. So I'm going to disagree with that. But if you were to short the market right there, I wouldn't be mad at you. You know what I mean? Because I think the market is about to head so much higher. I'll show you why in just a few moments. You probably already know, if you follow me for a length of time, you already understand what I'm about to talk about. But we also entered Ethereum at 4152, currently at 4,315. I think it hit 4,400 earlier today. We're up $550 on that right now. So as you can see, we're up about $2,000 overall. Originally it was 5,600. We're up about $2,000 right now, but we do still have that outlier right there. Avalanche has not kicked it off at all. Now, to close this out on our positives, we're at $212. That was our entry point on Solana. It's currently at $220. We've got a take profit set there at 230. By the way, my take profit on Ethereum is at 4,400. So we're going to be out of a couple of these trades, I think, maybe in the next few hours. So and that'll be a great thing. That'll give me an opportunity to reset, get myself back into a position here, and then maybe when I look at the market, maybe I'm going to agree with Dr. Profit and I'm going to start shorting Bitcoin somewhere in that 120 to 125,000 range. But I do think that we are in an upward trend right now, and I don't think that that is going to change. And I think the more the government is shut down, the more we have those quote unquote problems in the US, that the more I think the flight to crypto will take place. So we've made out pretty well so far. I want to see this continue. I want to see a couple of these just get triggered. Like I want to see a nice little rip for Bitcoin today to 118,007. I want to see that happen. I want to see these get triggered. I don't want to, as they say, jeet out of my position. Now, again, the one negative that we have was, and guys, I entered this just at a bad position, I want to say. When we look at what we were doing over here and we were analyzing it before, I felt the need to make a trade on the live stream so that you guys could see it, but I wasn't convinced that it was going to be a good move. Felt like a bad move to me while I was doing it, and that was going to be right there. We're going to get rid of that line right there. I thought that my entry was going to be in a better position. We're on the 1 hour right now. Let me get back out to the daily here so you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about right here. What I was looking for, and we entered this trade a couple of days ago, and it was at about $32 right over here. And I thought, maybe we could just see it start to reverse over here. We hit that 0.5. We went back up to the top. We're looking very bullish, but we got a bearish divergence, right? That bearish divergence broke down. That's where we're looking. Right here we go. Right here is where I was looking for an entry position. And I told myself the entry position here was going to be $27.45. I gave that to myself and to you. But instead, because I'm a dum-dum sometimes, entered at $32 over here, just a bad position. Now, I'll take my lump for that. And, I feel bad that I entered that position. Got very close to being liquidated. I think my liquidation point was $25.91. So we came down to $27.39. Yeah, $27.39. So we were within $1.50 of getting this thing liquidated completely. Could still end up getting liquidated. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I'm not pleased with the way that it's pumping right now. It is clearly in a take profit mode, while at the same time, I'm seeing a nice little surge from Solana. seeing a nice little surge from Ethereum, seeing a nice little surge from Bitcoin, seeing a nice little surge from XRP. But for some reason, Avalanche just kind of hit a wall right there, just not holding up very well. Too many traders, too many paper-handed hoes out here, just, kind of dumping on everybody. Maybe they feel like the profit is done here. So I'm not sure exactly yet what's going to happen, but we're going to keep looking around. We're not looking to enter a new trade right now, but I am going to give you some positions here. I do think that 33.18. Now I set my take profit here at $33 just to get back out of it. The reason I set it right there is because it's the 236. That's my range right there. And the way we're sitting right now on the RSI tells me, in my estimation, that we are probably due for some more upside. So I do think we're going to get that run up into $33. Then we're going to we won't have a loss, but we're going to quote unquote cut our losses there while being in profit. The other thing to look at is Bollinger Band starting to tighten up. It got pretty wide over here as we had this big aggressive move, but now you can see that it's starting to tighten a little bit. When we look at it on the 1 hour, what do we see? We see it getting real tight right now. Yeah, we're seeing it start to really tighten up. That could mean that we're due for a big move. Now, the other thing to that is just because we're seeing this, we don't want to do that. Just because we see this curve inward and this curving upward, we're starting to tighten up here. We can see it starting to happen. Does not mean that we're going to get an upside move. Now, it feels good, though, on the 21 MA, which is the line right here in the middle. That 21 MA appears to be on the upside of it. Doesn't really mean a whole lot, but when you get a tightening right there and you've got to bounce off of that band, that generally is a bullish indicator and will break out above and start its way up there. So I'm feeling confident that this move is going to play out, despite the fact that we could end up losing $1,000 on that. But again, if that were to happen, catastrophic though it may be, I think we're going to be in a good position. I think there's going to be enough in the evening tonight for at least a few of these to tick off and do a full take profit. So if we can do that, and then I can keep that link trade going up to $27, and we don't get reversed over here and come back down into this $19 sort of range with link. As long as we don't do that, that's going to be the big profit win right there, because that's the one that's still moving aggressively. And part of that has to do with real world assets. The RWAs are still a big time thing. And I would think, and I do think, that maybe we've got some opportunity for Link to really sort of take off. Along with that, you're going to see a lot of RWAs start to take off. As a matter of fact, I'm compiling right now my 3 favorite RWAs. We're going to release that video either tomorrow or the next day as soon as it is ready. Now, let's move on and let's get into some of these other ones so I can give you what I think is going to be a great position. Now, remember I told you that your entry position here for XRP is going to be on the top of this range. So let's make a zoom. And let's see what it looks like right there. So we're rejecting off of it. Remember, I gave you 270 as your entry position down here. From 270, you've already hit an enormous profit, guys. You're at 10%. So in the event that you took a 10x on this, you're up 100% right now. This is the perfect spot for you to de-escalate and de-risk your position. It also would not hurt you at this point to reverse that position. I don't think that will play out. I don't think that reversing it is a wise idea, but this is the range in which you would do that if you could do that, because you've come down 2 bars, if you will, down into this range. You've bounced off of this range, and now you've got a candle wick sitting up here, meaning that you're getting some of that resistance. You're getting some of that sell pressure that comes over here from the traders who are going up and down on that. So that's the position right now that indicates to me that we could have some downside, maybe even test 270 again. So it would not be the worst thing for you to do to reverse that position and do that. Now, the reason that I would say don't do that, you do what you want to do, but the reason I would say don't do that is this right here, this RSI still looking pretty weak, still looking pretty weak. I want to see an aggressive upside move, and we're looking bullish on the RSI right now. It just broke above the 21 MA. So again, should be a nice rally that continues on. Would like to see some of this. If we get some of this green action here on the RSI, then we could be talking about not just a break to this next level right here, which is 318, which would also be a pretty aggressive move, but we could see a test of the all-time high at 366 coming very, very soon. Okay, money's still pouring into the market. We're up $131 billion on the day. As a matter of fact, when we look at it right now, we're at almost 4 trillion in market cap right now. Zooming out on this crypto total market cap, zooming out here, looking at where we are, guess what? We are consolidating near the all-time high. This means that, in my estimation, we are subject to a breakout. Let me try to put this as simple as I can right there. You've got this flag pattern playing out, and you've got the flag pattern that's playing out on top of this move right here. Now, there is a possibility of a breakdown. There's always a possibility of a breakdown. But the last time we got it over here, guess what? Boom, went way higher. Last time we got it over here, boom, way higher. Okay, we're getting ready for another, in my opinion, we're getting ready for another big upside move, and I'm here for it. We're up $135 billion on the day right now. Again, the market's just continuing to soar. So we're going to skip a few of these because we've already talked about them. Again, I'm not entering new positions right here. SWE. All right, so we missed SWE from the secondary entry, but yesterday or the day before, whichever day it was, I told you that your entry position was right here. What happened at your entry position? Boom, you got an enormous run here. So now at 318, you're up 8.5%. Again, if you took a 10x leverage trade, you're up 81% right now from that entry position, and a little bit more. You're probably up about 90% right now. Be a great time. This is not a bad time right now to take profit. Actually, you're up over 100% right now. So it'd be a great time for you to take profit. You can leave the long in if you want to. I do think it makes its way up to the top of the range. Again, I feel like we're bullish. So I think we're going to come up here. But, and that, by the way, is going to be about $3.83. So it would not be the worst thing for you to set up a full take profit at $3.80 and just kind of stretch it out and see what happens over the next little while. Looking for a breakout. Now, if you take profit right here and it continues to surge, don't worry about it. You're fine, because this is what you want to do. You want to play the trend. The trend is your friend. So you want to play that trend line. That's where you make your money. The issue would be if it goes up a little bit more, that's cool, because what you're looking for is that break above, and then you're looking for the test back here at $3.80 after it surges to $4 or $4.10, something like that. That's what you want to see. And if you get it back here at 380, that becomes your entry position for a breakout, and the breakout would then go to that all-time high at $4.40, and then you would have an enormous amount, or potentially an enormous amount, of profit that you could have made from that move. All right, so that's what you're going to be looking for, and that's the way that the market is going to flow for you. Now, I'm still not bullish on Cardano. As a matter of fact, I talk about it every goddamn day, and I really don't want to. So I'm going to move this down here to the bottom so that we're not really talking about it again. Again, I joke about it being a stable coin. I'm just not bullish on it because there's not enough traffic. There's not enough revenue. There's nothing being generated that makes me bullish in any way about Cardano. Other than this, Charles Hoskinson is involved with the White House. Charles Hoskinson is on the president's council of crypto elders, or whatever, like the Department of War, or whatever he's calling that stupid thing at this point. But he's on that, and that is bullish for Cardano long term. Problem with all of it is that nobody else cares. So that makes Cardano a meme coin, and meme coins are getting wrecked. I don't see Cardano breaking out until they announce some kind of partnership. And to be fair here, I do think that Donald Trump is going to throw a bone to Charles Hoskinson, and they're going to have some kind of agreement in principle to do something with the government. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to, the people that support him, he's going to support. Pretty simple. So I think that's what you will see coming up very soon. But in the meantime, there's just really nothing to talk about. Avalanche, again, showing weakness. I want to see some strength out of it. I'm not seeing the strength out of it, but also when it runs super hard. So if I did, in fact, call the bottom here, if we did, in fact, get $27, and by the way, I didn't get in at 27. Remember, I got in at 32. I'm still down. But if we did call that bottom, then, I mean, maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe. But we'll see. Near. All right, guys, you know we made a bunch of money off of Near just recently. We caught this one down at the bottom. We worked it all the way up to the top. We took our profit. Now we're looking for it to range, and we're trying to figure out what our entry position is. Our entry position right now has already been triggered. If you happen to get into it right now, I couldn't predict what's going to happen at this point. The likelihood, however, would be a move to the 236. 236 located right up here. So 309 would be the next potential move. Problem with entering into this position right now is you're at the top end of that 0.5, like that 0.68 down here, or coming into that 0.786. That was your entry position. So what you'd be looking for at this point right now is a smaller move into this range, and then another breakdown, probably even deeper. So you probably better be served, or be better be served. You probably be better served by going ahead and just setting a buy order at 250 and letting it sit right now on the chance that it breaks down just a little bit and gives you that entry. Because also, don't forget, Near is one of the fastest blockchains that there are. It settles more transactions faster than almost every other blockchain. So Near does have probably a bright future, and will probably have a nice little breakout. HBAR still on the path right now for that impulse move. That impulse move is the Elliott wave. The second part of the Elliott wave looks like it is loading right now. The last time it did that, by the way, if we just kind of drop back a little bit, like where Caleb Williams dunking on all these footballs, are dunking on all these football teams. Look at that right there. Look at that right there. Very, very similar in the way that it played out. And by that, I mean, you had this dump and a retest, then you had a dump and another retest, then you had a dump and an accumulation. You over here, you had a dump and a retest, then you had a dump and a retest, then you had a dump, and you're seeing an accumulation sort of playing right now. And then boom, you could be looking at this thing happening right here. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the range that it's going to go to, but on an Elliott wave, the third wave is the largest wave of an Elliott wave pattern. So if that is the case, then, you know, maybe right here, and then you look at it doing a little bit of this sideways to right about there, and then, yeah, that seems about right. So HBAR, I would not be dismissing HBAR at this point. I would be looking for a potential, just a really aggressive move coming from HBAR at some point soon. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but it means that if you were to accumulate based on the fact that there is an Elliott wave playing out, right now today is your perfect accumulation. Problem with this is, the only problem that you have right here is leverage. If you're going to use a leverage position, it's kind of tough, okay? Because it could still break down. You could still see a little bit of a breakdown. And the reason that I'm going to say that is because pulling it out right here to here, we're already in that 0.5 to 0.618 range, and we've broken back out. We're at the 0.45 again with this one. And I just told you on Near, that's not an entry position. So in the event that you want to take an entry position, you may just be kind of out of luck with this one, because it doesn't look like it's coming into that range. Now, when it doesn't look like it's coming into that range, those are the perfect times when the market likes to stab you in the back and shank you, if you will, and make that happen. Now, that is possible and potential for a breakdown to happen. But again, the most likely scenario is a play to the upside. So if you are into a little bit of risk, go to Margex, sign up today, put yourself $500 into the account, sign up under me, links in the description down below, set yourself a long position, 5x on H-bar, and let's see if it doesn't do this Elliott wave up to 40 cents. And by the way, if it does that, just want you to know, if it does that, just to give you an idea here, if you put $500 on H-bar right now, and it does what I'm saying with 5x leverage, then what you would get is 5x off of it, because from 20 to 40 cents is going to be 100% gain. So you would be looking at an enormous win if you took your leverage position right here and it actually did what I'm saying I think it's going to do. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you that if you did that, it would probably play out pretty good for you. Also, let's talk about Sonic, because Sonic is actually doing what we said it was going to do. It's up 11% on the day. I said yesterday, I'm not convinced yet. I think that there's going to be some sell-off when we get up into this range here at about 30 cents, because boom, 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 boom. Look at all that sell pressure. This has been used as support a lot. Now, when it's used as support, when it breaks down below your support line, then that means your support line becomes your resistance line, because now people are going to sell into it because they've been bouncing at 30 cents and they've been setting bids at 30 cents for a long time. Now they're going to set their sell at 30 cents so that they can get their original investment back out, and they're going to move on to a different one. So it's going to have a big surge to break above that. So if that were to happen, again, I think you're going to have a problem on the way up there. We'll see whether or not you do, but I do think that that's going to present itself as a problem on the Sonic chain. Also on Arrow is right now in the perfect position for a breakout move. And if you were to accumulate right here on Arrow, that is not a bad position. Again, this is at the bottom of your range here. Excuse me. With the most likely breakout right here, again, if you take profit right here, you're not going to make a whole lot off of this move. This is not a huge move, but it's about 10%. A 10% move right there with 5x leverage is 50%. So you take your original investment out, you can leave that 50% back in, let it run and see if it doesn't do that and continue on. If it does continue on, then you would be talking about a move up here to $2.32 if it does break out. In fact, most likely it's going to get stopped at exactly $2, because if you notice right here, there's a lot of support right there. It's topped out multiple times over here at $2, and it's done it over here at $2 as well. And then that would then become most likely, you'd see it break up there. And then what you'd most probably see is a break down again. And then you would start to see this pattern develop. And this is exactly what you want to see for an all-time high to come in. So, excuse me. So that's what I think is going to happen with Aerodrome right now, and that would be a fantastic entry. I think it's a little hot when I look at it from this context, because you missed the bottom. If you didn't get in here at the bottom at 99 cents, you're only at $1.08 right now, so there is some room on it. But on a 7% that, like, you never don't buy when you're up 7%. I mean, that's, it's just one of those days. If you're going to accumulate on spot, this would probably be a good place to accumulate on spot. If you're doing a leverage position, again, you would be looking for a move down into this range. Also, Pendle this is the perfect entry position for Pendle. Same thing applies, though. It's really kind of, you've already got a little bit of a surge here. We were sitting at, what was it earlier today? All the way down at $4.38. You're now up $4.78. So it's also had its surge up 7% on the day. So not the perfect entry position, but if you're on spot, it's probably going to rip all the way up here to $7.30 at some point very, very soon. So I would be watching for that one to play out. OM, we're seeing a tiny spike. I don't see what I'm looking to see over here. What I'm looking to see is one of these candles start to break out. I'm looking to see this thing break above and then test and then go, and then test and then go. And I do think that in the event that anything that they've been saying the last few days about something brewing, something happening, that excuse me, that something is going on. Once we see what that is, then you will, then I think this is going to be one. Now, you guys know I've accumulated a bunch of this stuff. I have a bunch of OM right now. My DCA, I am down on it. One DCA right now is at 21 cents. So I'm down about 4 cents on average there. The other one is at about 29, like 0.2946 at this point. So I'm under 30 cents on my DCA. So I do need to see it go up above 30 cents. But I have 18,000 of this. So I have a pretty big bag of OM at this point. So if it goes back up to around 40 cents, then I'd be looking at about $7,200. So it would be it'd be a nice little win. I'm in for a couple $1,000. All right. So we'll see what happens there. Devi, for those of you that are Devi fans, again, this is a good time. This is a good spot to accumulate. You've seen what's happening. It's playing out all across the board. What would most likely be the move here is a play to this upside right here, like that move right there, going up into this. What I'd like to see on this one, because that the public shard has been delayed, could be released at any moment. There was a little bit of a glitch. It was a minor glitch. As soon as it breaks out, or as soon as that comes, then I could see it going up to $1. This is not the breakout, okay? There won't be a breakout of DevE until they make an announcement of their partner. And I think that partner is, of course, I'm going to say it one more time, I think it's NASDAQ. So that's my $1 move right there. And I think that this could happen before the announcement happens because the blockchain is now active. And by the way, when I look at it in that context, the reason that I say that, excuse me, is because there are people out there who are holding DevE right now that will accumulate more. We're at 804,000 in liquidity, just short of $1 million in liquidity with a $39 million market cap. I do think this thing runs back up, or could run back up to 100 million market cap. At 100 million market cap, be a little bit over $1. In fact, I think that if we go look at this at $1, we're looking at that little spike right there on the, okay, so on that range, let me come back over here and look at it on that range right there. That would be a $87 million market cap to take it to $1 right there. So 88 million market cap. So 88 million market cap, basically a 2x from where it is right now. I do think that that's on the table for people who are excited about what could happen there. That is, that puts it at about I want to say about 1.3 million in liquidity. It's not going to take a double. It's not going to have to double the liquidity to get up there in that range because Ethereum is also pumping. So you're going to have less, you're going to have more pull from Ethereum. By the way, it should be noted over here, just in case you're not paying attention, that yesterday or a few hours ago, we were sitting at buy volume of 47,000 and sell volume of 57,000. It's now reversed to 56,000 in buy and 40,000 in sell. And the reason for that is because the white paper has been released. Now, we don't go to dev.e.io anymore. We go to dev.e.com. And then on dev.e.com, I'm going to encourage you to read this. I can't talk enough that I'm going to be able to read this to you. I will do a video. I am doing a video on DevE very soon, but the white paper is now released and it is right here. All right. And by the way, this is designed for traditional finance. This is not designed for you and me. This is not for crypto bros. This is for serious institutions and serious institutional investors, not people like us who are into crypto. Okay. So when you start to read through this, you're not going to look at this and you're not going to say, well, this is just the same as Solana or any of these other white papers. It is not the same. Okay. This is based on traditional finance right here. Okay. So, but what it does is it gets rid of MEV bots. It gets rid of the smart contract. It's getting rid of everything that you consider to be risky. That is why their partner is so massive. That's why when this announcement is made, then the DevE will represent a paradigm shift in the way you transact cryptocurrency. Not for you originally. It's going to take some time for others to adopt it. And remember, the patent just got approved on September 16 for DevE for this. So when it's all said and done, people can't steal the idea. They're going to have to buy the idea from DevE. DevE has an enormous amount of value in this space. Instantaneous settlement is what TradFi wants. Instantaneous settlement, number one. Number two, they want security. And don't forget, if you get ripped off on DevE, you can reverse the transaction. They are held in a holding company, Bank Delubach, for I want to say 1 week to make sure. So your risk has been completely mitigated if you're a big time investor in DevE. So when this announcement, again, when everything happens here, DevE is going to be, in my opinion, the biggest crypto breakout of 2025, maybe 2026. I want to say 2025, but they didn't make their deadline of yesterday for the public shard. I don't know that they make their deadline for anything else. They did make it for the white paper, so I'm not dumping on them. They did make it for the roadmap, although it took 2 weeks. They did make it for the websites, although the websites are not fully functional and are not exactly the way that they should be. There are still some things that they have to do, that they have to fix, and that they have to work on. So they're not there yet, but they're getting closer and closer and closer to there. So again, we're looking at 88 million market cap. That'll take us back up to about $1 per DevE. And that's the number that we're going to be looking for. Now, another thing here is, you guys know I've been talking to you about Definity. I told you that I had not spoken with Definity. I have not talked to them. Well, that has changed, and we are going to renew. We're going to keep talking about them, and they are sending me over the payment. So Definity is back on the big board. So we're going to talk about Definity right now. We're going to talk about it right now to tell you what I think is going to happen. And what I think is going to happen is what's slowly going on right now is, again, that building for an accumulation. We saw this over here when it dipped down. We saw that right there. We got that right there. We saw an attempt to come back, and then it came back down. We saw an attempt to come back. We came back down. Then we saw a breakout right here. We saw a breakout right here. Then we saw a dump right here. We saw a dump right here. Now, I think it's going to break to this upside right here, which is going to be about 4 cents. I don't know that it goes beyond 4 cents at this point, but we're accumulating right now at 2 cents. If we can get this up to 4 cents, this is going to be a significant breakout. So I do think that this matches up right now with what the trends have been. If you come over here, you might even see, I don't know that that's played out before. I mean, patterns are patterns, right? We're looking for the patterns to show what normally happens when we get this dump and then a pump and then a dump again. We get the dump and then a pump and then a dump again. We get the dump and the pump and the dump again. What do we get? Big breakout, big breakout. We're waiting for a big breakout. So it seems like we're in line right now for Definity to have another big breakout. This is a very risky project. It's about 3 million market cap. I would not use a leverage position on this. In no way would I encourage you to use leverage on Definity. Not right now. Doesn't have a big enough pool of liquidity. And you know these centralized exchanges, they will gank you in a heartbeat and they will steal your money. That's what they do. They call them market makers, but we all know that it's not market makers. It's them. They're doing it. They're the ones that are trying to cut your throat and steal from you. It is the centralized exchanges. They just call themselves market makers to do that. API 3 at 80 cents right now. Still a steal in my estimation. What I do think is going to happen with this one is what I told you was going to happen the last time. And boy, did we peg that one. We pegged that one absolutely perfect. Now, we did not sell at $1.80. Or what is it, $1.75? Yeah, it went to $1.75. We did not sell there. We sold around $1.50 down here just a little bit where the previous top was. So we got our money. We got our profit. we made our big deal. Then we accumulated a little bit more at $1 when it finally came down to $1. We were feeling pretty good about that position. And then son of a bitch, if it didn't keep dumping. So then we bought more at 82 cents because I told you that that was going to be my entry position for a new play to get more API 3. And then in the meantime, it went a little bit lower after that. And now it looks like that reversal is on. Again, the same thing here. The only problem that I see with this right now is look how long, when this happened before, and we had that dump before, look at how long that distribution was. That distribution was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. We don't want a 5-month distribution over here. I don't think that we have time for a 5-month distribution over here. I think this needs to have a nice big reversal right now to be in line with the rest of the market. And I do think that it is, just like everything else. So what I would be looking for would be, when I said that, I felt like kill switch. God damn it. What I will say, right there is where this is what I'm looking at right here. This sort of range, excuse me, this sort of range that we're in right now. The question right now is, will we break to the upside and will we come back up here strong and make ourselves another breakout, possibly breaking $2? Now, in the event that that happens, then I would suspect that we're going to have some resistance here in that $2.50 range, some major resistance at $2.50. You can see that as it's played out over the years. $2.50 represents a prohibitive sort of resistance. However, if you go back here to December, where did you go? You went to 275. So you broke above, you got the sellers out. But let's go back here to that original breakout. Remember when Pepe was super hot and we had that mini altcoin season back in December of 2023, leading up into February of 2024, when, excuse me, when Bitcoin finally got the ETF approved and it started to break out, and all that FOMO was building up, and we got that mini altcoin season. This thing went to $4.60 at that point. Is it 460? Son of a bitch, I don't even know what the number is. 492, so almost $5. So I do think that there's going to be an absolute breakout. Now, when I tell you this, the one thing that I do want to preface this with is, I think that where Link is right now is where API 3 is going to be at the end of this run. So I want to do real quick to give you guys just an idea of what I think is going to happen here. I'm going to compare cryptocurrencies. I'm going to compare API 3 right here, and I'm going to compare it to Chainlink right here. If that happens, API 3, $117. Folks, I'm telling you right now, API 3 does everything Chainlink does better, faster, and with less friction. There is a market for API 3. There is a massive market for API 3, and it's going to come down to their advertising and to the discovery and for an altcoin season breakout to happen, okay? So it is my estimation that that's going to be one of those things that does happen. It launched here and was up at $8.50 on its launch. So at least for that period, that range right there, I think that API 3, again, a massive accumulation, a massive distribution. We've had the distribution right here. We've had the accumulation right here. We had the pump right here. We had another distribution right here. We're having an accumulation right here, despite the fact that we're getting, a few pumps along the way. There's going to be this move happening right here. And look, if it goes to half of Chainlink, that's $60 per coin for API 3. I think that it's worthy of that type of consideration. So if you don't have any API 3, you should probably get some. And my voice is running out, so I'm gonna have to move a lot faster here because I gotta chill out. VeChain, we're not going to talk about. Conflux, by the way, Conflux just helped China launch its new yuan stablecoin. Okay, they're doing a test right now. Conflux is the only public approved Chinese blockchain. I'm telling you right now, I'm warning you that if you don't have some Conflux, you are going to regret it, because it is going to go absolutely bananas at some point, because it is the only blockchain in China right now. It's the only public blockchain. This one is going to be monumental. In fact, I gave this right here, and I said that it's going to do this right here. And look, remember I gave you a top over here, and I said the top over here was going to be 70 cents. Well, guess what? It's lining up for that right now, and that's a 5x away. So I think it's an easy 5x away, in all honesty. I think it's, you do you, boo-boo, but I think that's going to be crazy. Ondo, I think Ondo is going to do the same thing that it did before, and I think it's going to run up here to about $4. The one thing that I'm going to tell you is there's your start, there's your big pump, there's your distribution, your accumulation is high. Then you had another pump, then you had a distribution, your accumulation was even higher. Now you're going to have another pump, and it's going to take you up here. Then you're going to have another distribution, and it's going to come back down into this range right here. It's been playing out almost picture perfect right now. This thing is on another level. It's going to have an enormous run. So you should have some Ondo as far as entering a position on this right now. Man, I'm telling you right now, it is my estimation that the entry right now for Ondo is perfect. Okay. So if I can trigger in the next couple of hours or wherever, if my Bitcoin gets triggered, if my Ethereum gets triggered on Margex, if we can get those cash outs to happen right there, then Ondo is going to be one of the next ones that we're going to want to get into because it just looks like it's, look at this. I mean, this thing looks like a powder keg ready to explode. Maybe I just get in my own head and I see things that may or may not be there. But let me tell you what I see, okay? I see this top. I see this top, okay? I see this distribution. I see this distribution. I see this dip right here. I see this dip right here. I see this double top over here. I see this double top over here. I see this move right here. Now, the way that it's different is I see it came back down right here. But that part right there doesn't concern me because it looks like there's going to be another gigantic move up towards the top on this one. Guys, my voice is getting scratchy. I'm not going to make this much longer. But the distribution here that's happening right now, the accumulation that we're having right now, I think this is going to lead to an absolute just banger of a breakout. When I look at the Bollinger Bands are fairly tight right now. We're not really, nothing's setting the world on fire. But here's the thing, RSI, very weak right now. Looking down here, RSI is down at the bottom. And by the way, one of the things that I want to point out when I'm looking at RSI and I see a good RSI or I see something in the heart line right now, that's going to be the big ones, the big caps with the 30 plus billion market cap. Those are the ones that are getting hot because that represents altcoin season. Then you have the other one, which is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin still has to break out. Until Bitcoin breaks out and goes absolutely crazy, we don't have a game to play. Okay, we're not going to make it when it comes down to it. We're not going to have that huge run until Bitcoin eats, and we are 18,352. We got it set for 18,700. So possibility that we get triggered any moment now. Also, we've got Ethereum at 43.38. We're up $700 on that right now, but 4,400 is our take profit. So in the event that we could trigger both of those right there, that's an easy, let's call it $1,200 to $1,300 that we're going to be able to fold back in, and we can go into that and we can start talking about that Ondo long, and we can start really looking at some positions right there if those get triggered. And it really looks like we were when we started this, we were at 117,300. We're now at 118,400. So it looks like we are well on our way. When the market resets over the next few minutes, we'll see whether it continues and whether we get that surge. Do we get that big October? I'm about to try to say October, and I can't goddamn say it. We get that October surge. So if that happens, then we're going to be good. Nonetheless, Conflux, Ondo, Config, Syrup. Syrup is up 7% on the day. If syrup breaks above this previous level here that I gave you, if it breaks above here, then we want to enter on the downside when it comes back down and tests 43 cents. 43 cents is going to be your entry if it breaks above. If it doesn't break above, then your entry position is going to stay the same at 36 cents. Terra Luna Classic, we're not going to talk about this for a breakout until there's a reason for it to break out. These validators are thieving little pieces of shit, so you're not going to see anything happen over there while they steal your money. Pepe, look, Pepe broke out of the channel, which means that we now have to look at a new paradigm over here. I'm not prepared to look at a new paradigm on Pepe. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's just clean this whole goddamn thing up. And stop all the old stuff that we got over here because none of that really matters at this point. All right, so for Pepe, not a lot of confidence in what Pepe's doing right now, but this is what's going on at the top. This appears to be what's going on at the bottom. That is the wedge pattern that would break towards the upside. So there is that potential for a breakup and a breakdown and then an actual breakout. But if it does, I'm like, man, I don't see it going above this right here. I just don't see it. By the way, it rejected off of that last time because there's so many people right there willing to sell at a slight loss in order to get out. Because again, just like Devi, just like some of these other ones, there are other cryptos that are pumping and you're not part of it because you're locked into some ridiculous trade on some bullshit like Pepe. So, you know, it will have a run, but it will not run as good as the Trump meme coin. It will not run as good as Dogecoin. It will not run as good as, well, you know what? Maybe not SHIB or Pengu. It will run, it won't run as good as Pengu. You know what I mean? There's going to be some that are going to break out that are meme coins. So we'll see what happens there. ZBCM, the Zebek network right now, really had a nice little surge and then it got eaten back up immediately. So I would not, you could enter that position right there. And I wouldn't say that's a problem, but I would be waiting a little bit. Tau, this is, so you guys know, I'm doing a lot of bit tensor work. I've been doing it for a little bit, working my way through it. I'm just kind of learning this ecosystem. It's fascinating, by the way, fascinating ecosystem. A lot going on. By the way, this thing has a crazy, this is going to be the last one because I can't even talk at this point. But Tau has a $3.1 billion market cap, $117 million in liquidity. If you want to buy, you can buy it on Coinbase. You can buy it on Binance. You can buy it on BitGet, Gate, MEXC, KuCoin, Crypto.com, BingX, Kraken, Binance TR, Bitmart, LBank, BitThumb, XT, Toko Crypto, whatever the fuck that is. KuCoin, Kraken, the other Binances. You can buy it on Weeks. So it is one of the partners of the channel. You can buy it on Femex, which is another partner of the channel. You can buy it on Bitrue, another partner of the channel. You can buy it on, I was looking for KCEX to see if it was on there, just to get an idea. Let's look at the volume and see how it's doing on volume over here. XT, Bitmart, Pionex, BingX constantly reaches out to me to partner with them. I haven't accepted it yet, but I should. Weeks, Bitstop, nope. Damn, thought it'd be on KCEX, but it's not. All right, so, but it is on Weeks. Now, I am a big fan of what's going on over here. And look at this when you kind of zoom out here and look at it. What does it do during bull rallies? Like, it goes absolutely crazy. And this is kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm doing educational content for them. And I really like what I'm finding here. Now, it's a little difficult. This is old school crypto, by the way. Just give you an idea. Here's my BitTensor wallet. Like, you can see it. I have, 3.5 BitTensor Tau tokens, 3.34. So I've got, $1,200, $1,100 of BitTensor. But if it breaks out and goes back up to these all-time highs in that $700, $800 range, this is a good accumulation. So I'm accumulating right now for just that, for you know, a really, what I think is going to be an aggressive move by it. So I am accumulating it right now. XVM, still not seeing any kind of pump or any reason for you to buy it, but there's an announcement coming at some point soon. When I get information, we'll come back around to that one. Aster, I told you guys, I made a video for you this morning. I told you that, you know, you're out of your fucking mind if you accumulate at this level. It's going to come down here at $1.25-ish, something like that. Look for an accumulation opportunity down there. Remember, CZ Binance distanced himself from this because a lot of people were just lying about it, saying that he was part of it, and he came out and admitted he is not part of it. He has nothing to do with it. So, yeah, you're on your own there. Now, as far as Meme Link goes, Meme Link is just massively selling off all the time. Like it's hard to get a read on any kind of upside momentum here. You know, you make somebody else mad and then they sell off, and you make somebody else mad and they sell off, and you know what I mean? Like we're in that distribution phase. We're not in an accumulation phase, which is a weird thing at this moment right now to still be in distribution. We should be at least in an accumulation phase right here. So it's not a great sign for Meme Link, but I know Pablo will throw a lot of money at a problem to try to fix it. So I'm interested to see exactly what happens over here. I'm still bag holding. I'm still waiting to see if there is a breakout. Would also like to see a breakout back up here, because that reinforces, again, this is all about investor confidence. You want investor confidence, you got to have a break up here into the top of this range. That tells the market, that tells your AI bots, that tells everybody that what you've got going on is worth investing in. Not coming up right here and then basically coming to the heart line later. You know what I mean? And that's not a great look either, in my opinion, but it's just my opinion. Like, I don't know. I just don't think launching more and more coins or tokens helps anybody that's invested in this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think so. But I mean, you know, it's not my project. I don't know. Pablo supported me when I needed it, so I support Pablo whether he needs it or not. RLC. Now, I told you guys iExec a long time ago was going to be a great buy, and I gave you this range, and boy, did I suck at that one. It just absolutely broke down below that. Hasn't come back up yet. One day we will be talking about this again, because I think this is, by the way, the internet needs storage. iExec is one of your storage. It's one of your storage cryptos where you can store your stuff away, your digital assets like your pictures, photos, whatever. You can store that away on RLC. It's like a file cabinet for your life on the internet, and I think that's got some serious value for you at some point. But again, you know, the market has not really given us a chance. You know, distribution right here, continued distribution to right here, accumulation started over here. So maybe, just maybe, it's going to be fine, but I don't know. You know, I think that ultimately all of these things are going to be fine. Pengu, by the way, up 12% on the day. Over here on our meme coins, Blocky still the talk of the town today. Devi is continuing its surge, a little bit of a surge, up 8% on the day. Really needs to have a breakout, hasn't had a breakout. Bonk up 7%, TARS up 7%, Mantra up 6%, Volt 4%. Meme Link is down 30% on the day. Right Wing is down 21%. Right Wing just can't, like I'm sure this guy's going to launch another coin. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. That's my time, guys. We just got triggered. I just got that sound. Bitcoin is at 18,605, 18,660. Bitcoin is surging. If we go to 18,700, it's going to trigger. We're at 18,600 right now. 18,658, 18,666, 18,650. Are we going to surge up there, and are we going to trigger it? 18,700 is going to be the magic number 633, 18,670, 18,600, and come on, man, 18,700. Are we going to get triggered? If we get triggered, we're going to be looking at Ondo. Here we go. 18,668, 18,000. Okay, so we got triggered right here. We just cashed out one of our cryptos. We just cashed out our Bitcoin long. We hit the full take profit on it. Our main trade is $1,320. The real P&L on these. Some of this shit is criminal. Some of this shit looks just criminal the way they do it here. Unfucking believable. All right, so 4,353 right now is our number on Ethereum. So if we get a surge on Ethereum right now, then we might see that play out pretty well. We're still looking at Solana, which has started to take off here. We're still looking at Avalanche. We still haven't had a good run on Avalanche yet. But excuse me, damn. What are we looking for right here? You know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to close this one right here. Put a little bit more money in the coffer right there. So where are we at this point? We're at $1,500, $1,800, and we're down 300 off that. So 1,500 plus 44 and 6, 44, 6, 1,500. So 6,000. So we should be, if this works out, our $5,000 that we initially started with is going to be a little bit over $7,000 in the event that this plays out. Also, Bitcoin is, Bitcoin is surging. It's now over 119,000. It looks like it's continuing on. Yeah, it's ripping. Bitcoin is ripping. Hopefully that means the rest of the market is going to rip here, and that we're going to start to see some really, really, really crazy numbers start to pile up here. We're up 13, 14, 15 billion. Excuse me, on the day. So I think we're going to get another few triggers happening tonight. I think we're going to sleep pretty good. All right. I'm going to leave the link going. I'm going to leave my Solana in there until we get to 2:30. I'm going to leave that Avalanche out there for right now, just to kind of see if we can't get, we get a little bit of a surge on Avalanche, then everything that we took so far is going to look great. That 2,000 on Ethereum is the big one right now that I'm, kind of sitting on, waiting to see what happens there. But we're up 35%, 34% right now. Again, just a nice little surge right there, and we'll have a nice little realized profit. All right, so that's going to be it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to go to bed because I don't feel good still. It's not financial advice. I'm always right.
I'm looking for the good life, sitting on top of the world. I want to be shining like diamonds and pearls.